Hello and welcome to the One About Spookcast, the show where virtually nothing happens in the woods each week. This week we're ratcheting up the spook to 11 with a spook-filled trip to the Spook Woods. This is the one about the Blair Witch Project. I'm your host, Spook Dean, and I also go by EndlessCola in places around the internet. I am joined this week, as always, by the spook that cries into the camera, Jordan, and the spook that hates the word spook, John. What's going on this week, guys?
That was a very accurate description of so much uses of spook, like
Bro,
over spook
usage. I would totally be the one that's like, I know where we're going, guys. I know this is the right way. Don't shut up. I have the map. I know where we're going. That would totally be me. So if we're ever in the woods, just know that we're probably not going to make it out.
Dude, I would be the one who just like sacrifices you to the witch to get us out. Basically. But before we get into all of that, I gotta tell you guys, after we talked about it, I went out and got some Tillamook ice cream. I honestly wasn't convinced that it was creamier than Breyers, so I also got some Breyers ice cream, and I tried them right next to each other, and we'll call it inconclusive.
Really?
Nope. That was not worth it. Come on.
What kind of buildup is that for inconclusive?
Yeah. Inconclusive?
All right. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Tillamook is definitely not creamier than Breyers. They're the same.
My god, whatever.
They're the same?
Sure. They're the same, dude. Like they're equally creamy. I will say that you
just had a big old spoonful of Tillamook delicious in your mouth, and you just soiled it with Breyers. And you're
like, I can't believe your lies, dude. I can't believe them.
I will say that my only option for Breyers was vanilla, and Tillamook. I got the one that you were talking about, Jordan. The
malt, yeah,
the malt, the moo milk malt, whatever.
Yeah.
That is a great pint of ice cream. It's
delicious.
Good. Yeah, it's really good.
Like honestly, I wasn't expecting the creaminess or the flavor of it, but it's not an ice cream that I can just sit and cry into. Like I can only have a few spoonfuls of it before I'm kind of overwhelmed.
I agree.
It's very rich,
but it's good enough that even my wife, who doesn't like malt anything, likes that ice cream.
Oh, perfect. Nice.
So there's something to be said about that flavor, at least specifically. But if the conversation is centered around creaminess, I got nothing for you, Ben.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've had Breyers, but I said it was creamier than Breyers last time because when I tasted Tillamook, it immediately rang true to me that it was the creamiest that I've ever had. So
sure.
Unless I had completely forgotten the texture of Breyers, or maybe the last Breyers that I had just was, I don't know, freezer burnt or something. I don't know, but I still don't believe you. But I'm happy. I'm at least happy that you enjoyed the flavor, because the flavor for me was the most important part. I love the malt, and it's delicious.
Yeah, dude. I'm not gonna sit here and try and tell you that that's not great ice cream. It is.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Yeah.
It definitely is.
And then you know what's funny? I went and got a brick of Tillamook cheese, like just their normal sharp, like white cheddar.
Yeah.
And it was just like average cheese. It's like, oh, okay, all right, this is cheese. It's like, it didn't blow me away.
That's kind of where I was coming from, dude. Because like I've had Tillamook cheese and stuff before, and I'm just like, it's.
I got it to remind myself. I'm like, oh, is Tillamook cheese really like really, really good? And I'm like, no, it's just average. So okay.
No, dude, what I really want to do, and what I kind of wish that I had done, is got something that was more 1-to-1. So, like, get Tillamook strawberry and Breyers strawberry, something like that.
Ooh. Do you like chunks of strawberry, like the actual like fruit in your ice cream?
In ice cream, I just do, but I don't prefer it.
I don't like it. I don't like chunks of fruit in my ice cream. I just want the flavor of it.
Cookies and cream all the way.
Cookies and cream.
Yeah.
Cookies and cream for me depends.
I'll take chunks of cookies and cream in my cookies and cream ice cream. I'll take chunks of cookie dough in my vanilla ice cream all day, but
I'm
no
not
fruit.
a fan of cookie dough. I can't do cookie dough like that.
Really?
I could take or leave cookie dough. Like I like it fine, but I'm never gonna pick it.
I've picked it. Actually, I love the cookie dough Dippin' Dots. I think that's one of their best flavors.
Oh, you're right about that.
Yeah,
you're right about that.
That's banging. Stuff's good.
I haven't had
cheesecake
Dippin' Dots
ice cream.
in a minute, dude. Damn.
Ronnie mentions cheesecake ice cream, and I actually have had some really good cheesecake ice cream before, and it's like if you can get a good one, it's delicious.
I don't even know where I would get cheesecake ice cream from.
I don't remember where I got it either. Oh, you know what? I think I actually had Dippin' Dots cheesecake ice cream. I think they have a cheesecake flavor, and it was really good. But I remember trying another one. I just don't remember. I don't go buy ice cream often, so the Tillamook was a real treat for us. So I've been having like a little like half a mug of Tillamook after dinner, and dude, I ate way too much for dinner today. So I
made some homemade burritos, so I'm feeling pretty good right now. I just kind of wish that I had some of that wine left over or something, 'cause that would really set off this conversation right now. That's all I'm saying.
So
like I got a bottle of Juaritos and
what?
That's, you know, the Mexican soda?
No, I don't.
Jesus Christ. Hold on. I can't imagine that you don't know what I'm talking about. You just probably don't know it by name.
Hail the almighty ice cream god.
Paste that image.
I don't like it.
I don't care what you like. I'm just making a point.
Juaritos?
Juaritos.
That's a Mexican fruit cola, right?
They have regular cola too.
I think I've seen these at little like Spanish grocery stores, Spanish markets. I'm sure I have. I just never tried one.
I mean, you should try one. Most of them are pretty good.
No.
Jaritos.
H Mart for some sake.
Jaritos. Not Dean says Jaritos. I love that Jaritos soda.
Jaritos. Is that like Doritos, but like made of porcelain?
Ooh, man, Jaritos.
That sounds
delicious. Delicioso.
Oh, fucking shit. I hate both of you guys.
Mountain Dew and Joritos.
Joritos. Actually, Joritos sounds like a Spanish term too. I don't know what that is.
Joritos.
Y'all are dumb.
Doritos made of jury members.
We're dumb. Except you, okay. Yeah, we're idiots. Wow. So you used the spook word pretty aggressively in the intro, and I do respect that because this movie was way spookier than I remember it being. And
we're just diving right into it. Okay, we're just gonna dive into the spook.
And I'm sorry, I wanted to talk about it because you're right. Like your other observation in the intro, nothing happens. Nothing happens on camera at all. And I thought I could have sworn that I remembered seeing the witch or something in this movie, but nothing. Absolutely nothing.
You know what's funny about that comment? So at the end of the movie, when they're like the witch comes up, shakes their tent, and they run away. And oh god, what's her name? Who's the crying girl? Heather?
Yes. Yeah, Heather.
When she yells like, "Oh my god, what the hell is that?" Like that moment, the cameraman was supposed to pan off to the left and show the witch, and he just didn't do it. So, like, they had this shot all set up to show the witch, and then he screwed up, and they just left it like that.
Oh, really?
I mean, yeah, it was more to have, deal with suspense and the unknowing entity that's chasing them and haunting them, which it worked in their benefit, in my opinion.
So, with that said, one of our listeners wrote in one of the scariest movies of all time. What did you guys think about this one?
I think it's a classic. It had a lot more impact when it first came out. You know, it's like The Exorcist or like the slasher movies or any of the Psycho, like those cult classics that were just genre bending when they came out. There wasn't really anything like this that I'm aware of. At the time of its release, which was 99, right? I think 99 is when it came out.
Correct.
And it was it had such a huge cultural impact. It was really the Pokemon Go of its time. And it you can quote me on that now.
God,
Everyone
damn
talked
it.
about it. I know it was
will.
huge in my inner circle. Like, we were just dumb middle schoolers, and we thought it was real hidden footage. It was a completely, like, it was a legit documentary movie of this murder. It's real. The witch is real. Like, we had so many wild spun theories in our dumb kid brains going around, and I didn't really know it was kind of fake until I was a little bit older. Not out of high school, but like, a few years at least after that.
So that's basically what I expected you to say. What about you, John?
Um, it was I until the end. The end was definitely like a huge uptick. Definitely a 7.5 on the Richter scale. It was like it was basically just like, yeah, you're just seeing these teens like, it basically for me was just like idiot teens going out. They get lost in the woods when they're trying to make this cool documentary, and then out of nowhere, some fucking crazy shit happens. Like
So
that was pretty good.
so during the whole movie, while this weird shit is happening to them, at no point did you feel like the tension in the scenes or a little anxiety, like anything?
I felt anxiety when she found this, like basically the sack of like organs per
Teeth.
se. Yeah, that. Yeah, that
The
was pretty
tongue,
gross.
yeah.
And then that's where the tension rises. But other than that, it's just for me. I saw it. I was like, oh, they're just lost because like they ran into some different twig manipulations and things hanging in the forest, and I was like, yeah, that freaked me out a little bit. But I was like, fuck that. I'm trying to figure out how to get home. I don't give a shit about that.
What? Bro,
Yeah.
hold on, because
Yep.
we're going to circle back to a lot of the things that you're talking about,
We can
because I
do
have a
that. Let's
lot of
do it.
thoughts on that. But I can't let this go. Like,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know how you watch this movie and what goes on in this movie, because unlike the last three movies that, well, two movies that we watch, like, there's no question there's spook in this movie. This spooktastic.
Dude, I had so much anxiety after the second night when they started hearing the
Mm-hmm.
stuff in the woods. From then to the end of the movie, it was just
Right?
pure anxiety. That's all. Yeah, I was so anxious throughout the entire movie that it was very off-putting. Like, I forgot how atmospheric and how really incredibly well acted the scenes were. Like, those three people felt like an entire theatrical cast. They nailed it, and you just don't think about that kind of stuff. But man, it's just such a heavy movie. It's so heavy.
Like, how do you watch these? Okay, so like in the first place, I totally understand where at the beginning of the movie, like, they're making this documentary,
Yeah.
they go into the woods, they find
Mm-hmm.
Coffin Rock, and they
Yeah.
get lost, and you're just kind of like, oh, there's some dumb teenagers that get lost. But like almost
Mhm.
immediately after that, they start hearing sounds, they start like getting woken up in the middle of the night by shit going on outside.
Mm-hmm.
There's there's like twigs snapping, like they're yelling at it, and it seems like it's circling around them. Like, it's clearly a human being fucking with them. How do you not like watch that and go, oh, there's something spooktastic going on right here? As opposed
Uh,
to like, that was just dumb kids left. Like, at a certain point in the movie, well before they get the UPS package of teeth delivered to their tent doorstep,
mm-hmm.
there's clearly some shit going down.
I don't know. I guess I just process stuff differently. Like, it
I guess he's just
no,
not a
I'm
pussy,
not.
dude.
I'm not even trying to say it like that. I'm just not trying to say it like that. But like most of that stuff, like I've experienced, like actually outgoing camping and stuff like that. I didn't get freaked out by it. And I'm like, yeah, I know we're watching the Blair Witch movie and like the setting that it was in. But that could just be explained by like fucking animals being out there.
Bro, if that was me, the first thing I would think of, like, oh, this is it. Bigfoot's real. He's right outside. There's a whole clan of
Bigfoot's
them.
real.
It's big. Yeah, because they were like the sounds without me blasting my TV in my freaking second story apartment. The sounds just sounded like like tree limbs cracking, right? Like something heavy stepping on sticks and snapping. The first night, right? Of course it escalated. No, the second night when it happens, and then the third and fourth, I think, is only those sounds again. But like that's something big, just stepping all over sticks. Like that's a big animal. I would say that's a 9-foot tall, predominantly hairy creature, apish, possibly with large feet. I only know of one
Jesus
mythical creature
Christ.
that fits that.
The way those
like,
twigs are snapping, it sounds like that beast
description.
is 10, 11, 12 feet tall.
He goes out and tastes the air. It's musty. Oh, I know that must anywhere.
I know that must anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's just, I just put myself in the mindset of them, and like, first of all, I wouldn't be caught in that situation in the first place. Like that shit would not happen.
Well, I mean, like, to be clear, this could only star 3 white kids. Like,
yes, thank you.
No,
like, I'm glad I didn't have to point that out for everybody.
Like, you're never gonna catch anybody with 3 white kids out there camping next to Coffin Rock. Like, it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, like, especially with everybody telling you like it's a dumb fucking idea. Like, dude, the fisherman is like, kids will never learn. Like, it's always that. Like, he's just probably already chalked them up. He's like, I'm gonna see your tombstones in a week. But
I would
exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
but like the way I see it, like I literally like if I was in that situation, I'd be making fucking jokes. I'd be too pissed off to be scared. It's like you hear twigs snapping. It's like, oh, what was that? Probably a motherfucker who knows how to get home, bitch.
Just unzip the tent. Yo, dog, how do I get out of these woods? These white people are stupid as hell.
It's like, you got a map? You got a map
because
some idiot fucked ours over. Like, I'm just saying, help a brother out.
So let me ask you this, John, because listener Corn Bonzo was saying that your suspension of disbelief wasn't high enough. I kind of feel like your suspension of disbelief is, what's the best way to put it? It's hard for you to truly suspend disbelief. Do you feel like when it comes to horror movies, that's a hurdle for you? Like that a horror movie has to do something. Well, let me rephrase that to not just a horror movie, but a supernatural horror movie like this has to do something extraordinary to suck you in and keep you engaged? Or is it that there's not enough, for lack of a better word, graphic violence going on? Or like what could have drawn you into this movie more?
Yeah, I think you're kind of hitting the nail on the head. I have noticed, especially with watching these movies, like the comparison in the last episode between The Shining and Doctor Sleep, like the visceral imagery from the onset, and just like the way that you just see like a whole bunch of random people collapsing on this child, like that gripped me. I was like, oh, what the fuck's going on here? What's happening? But I feel with the Blair Witch Project, I don't know, it was just too subtle. And those subtle upticks and noises, I could just easily explain away. So, like, I wasn't really gripped by it. On top of the fact, like, found footage films, for me, they're either good or they're not. And that's judged on the imagery that's brought before me. And I think in the Blair Witch Project, they went with the less is more, and most of the time that's a good thing. But this one, for me, it wasn't. It didn't really pull it through for me. I would have liked to see more. I would have liked to see the area that they're in a little bit more to get better a sense of, like, they're just out in the middle of fucking nowhere, lost, like fucking night vision at night instead of just pitch black. Like, I think that would have been better. And then seeing like a shape pass by, something that I can attach tangible fear or anxiety or worry to.
That's a great point.
Do you?
Yeah.
Is it just that you're not afraid of the situation? Like, you feel like if you were in that, because here's the thing. Both as implied by this movie and as you'll find out as you dig into the greater lore of the Blair Witch and all that, it's not even so much that they were lost. The implication is actually that they weren't lost, that Heather did know where she was going the whole time, but the woods,
They imply that,
in this movie, they
right?
just imply it. In the greater Blair Witch lore, it's a little less subtle. Like, it's pretty clear that they were actually stuck there. Like Blair Witch 2 and especially the 2016 movie plays a lot with time and time manipulation, and essentially the idea is that once you go into the woods, you cannot leave until you're dead. Um in fact, I think the plot of Blair Witch 2016 is that a YouTube video is uploaded of a girl like lost in the woods or whatever, and they go to investigate it because Heather's brother is like thinks she's still alive and he thinks it's her or whatever. They go, and it turns out towards the end of the movie that, like, spoilers, that video was the video they made when they went, and it was uploaded after they were killed. So all of that to say, like, it's not that they're three stupid kids who got lost in the woods, but they're trapped there by the witch.
Wait, so it was their own video that they were watching?
Yeah, basically full
So it's
circle.
like
What's that word?
so it's a
causality.
It's a bootstrap
No, it's
bootstrap paradox.
Time
Causality.
paradox,
Yeah, time paradox causality event. Which I
watched,
actually love that. I actually love that kind of story canon.
So all of that to say, like, is it for you that you're just like not worried about being lost in the woods, and the kind of subtle way that they imply that they're being spooked this whole time didn't work for you?
You've seen this movie before,
Yeah,
right, John?
No, this is my first.
It
viewing.
is.
This is my first viewing. Yes.
Oh my gosh! Okay, I didn't know that.
And then most of these movies are my first viewing.
Okay.
But no. With that said, Dean, like, to your question, if I somehow got roped into doing that, like, it would be probably a couple days. Like, I'm pretty level headed in stressful situations. Don't act out much, and I would be freaking out. But, like, if there was like an instance, like, say they made a marker on a tree, right? Like a very specific, unique mark on a tree to keep track of where they went, and then they just go into this one open grove and they circle around, and all the trees have that mark. Like, basically, like, nobody could just randomly come up with that. If something like that happened, like something was like, oh, something's fucking with us, like, we're not getting out of here, it would be at that point, that realization, I would lose my shit. But the things that they were dealing with, like, I would, even if it was ignorantly, I would just basically say, it's like, oh, it's just an animal. Oh, there's no way that that's a person out here. Like, we would already have figured it out by now. Like, that's not a person. That's probably an animal trying to get food or something. Like, we're in a fucking forest regardless. But I wouldn't, like, be like, oh shit, it's someone trying to kill us. It's like a witch. Like, it would basically have to be like in those movies. I would be the guy that denies it until it's like a fact. It's undeniable. Like, there's undeniable proof. Like, someone is trying to kill us. Someone's trying to fuck us. I probably would die from my ignorance in that sense.
So let me ask you this: if you were, who's the most sensible person? If you're my man Mike, in this situation, like, we just rip that white boy out of there and inject John into Mike's place, at what point during the events of the film, assuming that nothing changes, everything happens exactly as we saw it, at what point during that film do you start freaking out a little bit, getting a little worried, lose your shit just a tiny bit?
Just a tiny bit when Josh disappeared. Like,
oh, it takes another human disappearing out of nowhere?
Yeah. Like, without
And
warning.
that's just a tiny bit.
That's just a tiny bit. I was like, okay, where the fuck did Josh go? Like, why would he decide to just walk off? He doesn't have a compass. He doesn't have a map. He obviously doesn't know where to go. So why the fuck would he decide to walk off? Like, that's strange. Especially, like, if I, like, kind of knew Josh. Like, that would be like you, Dean, like, just randomly just like, I'm just gonna go without a word or without any warning, like, without me noticing anything, and, like, you're just gone. I would just be like, okay, something's fucking wrong. That doesn't add up in any way, shape,
what
or
about
form.
the pile of rocks? Because after they saw on the third day, I think it was third or fourth, third day, they saw the pile of rocks. And on the third day, and then so second day they saw the pile of rocks. Third day, when they woke up the next morning, though, they had the pile of rocks around them that had to have been placed there. They could not have set up camp in between those rocks. I mean, how would you react in that situation? Sorry, morning of the fourth day. Sorry. Third day they saw it. Morning of the fourth day, they saw the rocks. And know that the night before that, though, was also terrifying because they heard loud footsteps and Mike was freaking out and more noises around everywhere. And I noticed that every night it got colder, right? Every night it got colder and colder and colder. So, I mean, how would you react in that?
I did notice that, actually. I couldn't pick up whether the coldness was like supposed to be supernatural or if it's just fucking cold. Like they're in the middle of the woods in Maryland.
I took it as such. Although, well, the first night they had a fire. No. First and second night they had a fire. So maybe it's because they just didn't have a fire going, but I took it as them mentioning it more, it being like a supernatural thing. But I guess it could have just been the wilderness.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyway.
I mean,
I'd be freaking out long before then. I already panicking. Like,
I know
that wouldn't help. You know,
rocks,
like
it's a pile
that
of
another
rocks,
intelligent thing put there.
What is wrong with you?
I'm just saying, I'm just saying, it's a pile of fucking rocks, and it's like it's not in any discernible shape or lettering. It doesn't spell anything out of me. I was just like, it's a fucking pile of rocks, whatever. Like, someone could be, like, marking traps, territory,
directly
whatever,
around your tent.
Around your tent?
Just, I don't know.
Let's just imagine that that's a normal human. You just wake up like, bro, what the fuck is this? Oh, I'm just marking traps. For what?
Like, I'm just saying,
what do you think is about to molest our tent?
Whatever, fucking pile of rocks, whatever. Like, maybe some sort of bear decided to, like, give us a warning. It's like, just don't go past this point.
What?
Yeah.
You're a madman.
It's
Dude,
just...
Like, at what point are you like, okay, so fine, it's a pile of rocks.
Yeah.
But it's a pile of rocks wasn't there last night before you went to sleep. Mm-hmm. And now there's a pile. So clearly somebody put that there at the very least to fuck with you.
You
that
dare to assume the person's gender?
Yeah. So... Are you seriously trying to tell me that, like, you're in that situation, you're lost in the woods, you have no fucking idea where you are, you're cold, hungry, and now people are piling rocks outside of your tent? You're not a little upset about that?
Not really. I mean, because let's put it this way: like, if there's someone fucking with me and they just like decide to just put a pile of rocks in front of my tent while I'm sleeping, I was like, is that all you're gonna do?
Oh my god.
Like,
dude, you are dead in a survival situation. You are not going to survive.
So many, but like, that's the thing. It's like, okay, so you notice that there's a pile of rocks in front of your tent. You assume that there's someone that's doing that. It's like, what are you going to do? Like, what are you supposed to do in that situation? Like, they don't give you any clue. They don't even consider, like, worrying about the pile of rocks doesn't help you in any way, shape, or form other than like you assume that someone's fucking with you. And if that's the case, it's like there's a prankster, and I would try and figure out where they are so they could get me out of here if that was the case.
All I'm saying is that if that's the case, there must be some switch in your brain that goes off that triggers just a slight cause for concern. Dude, like you don't have to freak out and lose your mind over it, but like a cause for concern. Because somebody who follows you into the middle of the GD woods and then starts piling rocks outside your tent is a fucking lunatic.
Yeah,
that is a fucking crazy person.
Yeah, it'd be different if homeboy tried to open my tent and grabbed my foot. Like that would be a definite cause for concern. But like
that would be
stacking
they need to physically accost you.
This is a cause, guys. I have found a cause for concern. This man holding my foot at 4 a.m. This is concerning.
Yeah. I don't know. You're not gonna stab me, or you a little bitch?
It's like it's just
go pile your rocks,
like,
bitch.
That's what I mean. I get it. Like after that amount of time and everything that's happened to them thus far, like they're in a very poor mental state, and it's rapidly declining. So like any little thing will just fuck with their mind. Like I could put, instead of a pile of rocks, I put like a stuffed unicorn with a rainbow horn around their tent. Like they just start losing their shit. You know what I mean? I get it. But me, myself, I was just like, okay, it's a pile of rocks. It doesn't change our current situation. Like we just need to get the fuck out of here. Like this just makes it seem more.
Mike had the same exact mindset that you did in that situation. They were like, fuck filming. We're done. Like they were getting pissed off at Heather for still trying to film. And they're like, even if it's not supernatural, even if it's just some, redneck that's fucking with us, he's like, it doesn't matter. We need to get out of here because the situation is just bad any way that any way you frame it. And they tried that. They obviously didn't get very far. According to the mythos, as Dean mentioned, they're in a time loop and they're stuck there, which whatever.
Yeah, that freaking sucks. That's what I mean. I would have actually liked it to where there was like a point where they're just like, we're not getting out of it. Like they were their main reason for their downfall is they kept thinking that they were going to find Josh.
They wasted a whole. One thing I know is they wasted a whole day just staying at the campsite. I think the 5th day. No, 6th day. They wasted the entire 6th day that they were out there, staying at the campsite, waiting for Josh to return. And then that 6th night is when they were hearing Josh, supposedly like scream, at night, right?
So hold on. Are you telling me that Jordan the adventurer is just gonna be like, fuck Josh, man. He walked away. It's over. Let him die out here. I'm out of here.
That's the 6th day. We're arguing about the 3rd, dude. By then, like, I would be just... I don't even know, man. First of all, follow the creek, okay? Human settlements tend to stay around bodies of water. If you're truly lost, follow the creek. Don't just say, let's head south all day. Because what was happening was Spooky Witch was manipulating the compass and having them walk in circles. Circles. And they should just follow the creek, because what's she going to do, right? Just have them like run into an exact like mirrored image of it and then just start back. Like, well, this isn't Pac-Man, dude. They're not just going to reappear at the other end of the creek unless this witch is omni-powerful, which I guess in later movies they make it appear that way. But in that situation, I would have just followed the creek. If I was truly desperate, I would have just stayed on the creek itself.
I mean,
that was the one part that was confusing to me, because they were following the creek. And then at some point they're like, well, here's a log. Let's cross the log and stop following the creek. Let's just go south. I was like,
because they got desperate and none of them knew how to survive in the woods. That's why.
If you think about it, like, not even just like following the creek is like going to lead you to civilization. Like, even if you're following a river that civilization is nowhere near in sight, if you want to survive in the forest, in any sort of desolate land, you stay by a body of water because that's where life goes to. Like, you'll be able to hunt there, you'll be able to forage for food there. You will actually be able to survive as long as you possibly can until you find civilization by staying next to that body of water. So,
unfortunately for them, the spook witch hunts by the creek too. So we got another listener question for you, John.
Yeah.
Kid Thickness asks, so someone came into your house while you were sleeping and put a pile of rocks around your bed. Would that not be cause for concern? I actually don't like this question because the witch didn't come into the tent and put rocks around their sleeping bags, which would be a hell of an escalation. But like, if we even just back that up a little bit, if somebody just started randomly piling rocks around your house, would that not concern you?
So around my house,
just some fucking lunatic just starts piling rocks around your house.
Okay, so the two-part answer to that question: rocks around my house, rocks in my fucking house around my bed, somebody's getting got.
Any signs anyone was in my house is identical.
Like,
It doesn't matter if it's rocks or if there's like an empty soda can on my counter. Like, if it wasn't me, I'm over it. I'm done.
Yeah, you could even talk, like, you could straight up, I will give you Kim's number, y'all can call her and ask her, like, if something is amiss in the house and I don't know how it happened, I dedicate my life and time to figure out how that happened.
Yeah, and I understand that, but like, your immediate reaction to, like, to Jordan's point, like, oh, suddenly there's a Coke can in the kitchen. Nobody cares. Like, maybe the wife got a can of Coke. I'm saying
something that is
like, it's
inexplicable.
Oh no, I care. I care.
Like, I know you do, but like, your reaction to that is not going to be like losing your mind. Whereas
you can ask Kim about that.
You know what I mean, John. Like, I know you're personally an insane person. My point is, like, are you going to have a rational mental breakdown a la what happens in the movie over a Coke can? No, you're not. You're gonna get like close. Mad about it.
I've been straight up close. Like, straight up, like, segue, side story. Yesterday, I found the chef hat of the boys, and it looked like they cut the bottom part of it. You know, the bottom part that that the poofy part stays on top of? It looked like they took scissors and cut it apart, right? So I literally said, no electronics until one of y'all cops up to this. Whole day goes by, and I was like, wait, there's 2 chef hats. So I was like, where's the other chef hat? They go through their clothes that we just dried and washed. He brings me the chef hat, and I look at the other chef hat, and then I flip it, and I was like, oh shit, it was inside out. My bad, I'm sorry, guys. I lost my shit for no reason. But that's what I mean. It's just like, the way my mind works is like, if I'm in a controlled area, which i.e. my home, and I know how things are supposed to be in /work, and I can't explain them, or there isn't an explanation for it, I lose my fucking mind. Now, if I am outside in the woods and I don't know everything that goes on in the woods, and I've never been in that woods before,
yeah,
I have a rational level of just like, I can't really explain it. These are the options I have. So I'm just not going to lose my shit over something I can't explain because I don't control all the variables in this situation or this environment. That's basically how my mind works. Like, in my house, where I control nearly all the variables and everything that goes on, and I know how things work, yes, I will lose my shit. Like, again, to listener Kid Thickness, like, if someone did some shit like that in my house, I'm going to have a fucking problem. Outside of my house, I don't control everything out there. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
As long as it's not in my house or anything like disrupts my threshold, I'm fine.
Well, I mean, so to John's point, Maryland beavers are infamous for stacking rocks and just being dicks. So you just never know when you're going to run into some errant and disrespectful wildlife,
Disrespectful beavers.
They're real sons of
Oh, my
bitches, you
God.
know?
Oh fuck!
I actually
like that
completely
shit.
understand what
I
you're
like
talking
that
about,
shit.
though.
I like saucy Jordan.
Thank you.
I like saucy
Thank you.
Jordan. I like that shit.
I actually completely understand what you're talking about. And I think I actually agree with you. Like, it's a lot easier to justify things when you're in an area for which you don't control. So even if it is something as wild as stacked rocks, there's a lot more ways to justify it than if you found like a stack of rocks in your living room and you're like, well, that's weird. Where'd these rocks come from?
Although to be honest, in John's house, a stack of rocks would be like somebody's getting a whooping more than
basically
something wrong here.
it's
But
like yeah.
So let me ask you this: like, okay, so somebody stacks rocks in front of your house, and you're just kind of like, fucking neighborhood kids, whatever, and you disperse the pile of rocks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the next day, there's 2 piles of rocks. They're like, these damn kids disperse, and this continues to happen and escalate. Like, at what point are you like upset about this, about these piles of rocks? And I'm not talking about like pissed off because these neighborhood kids won't stop harassing you with rocks. I mean, like,
I think what he's saying is the first day it
concerned.
happens, he's gonna lose his shit because it's his home.
Well, no, because he was saying before, like, if there's piles of rocks in front of the house, he
Oh,
doesn't
you
give a
mentioned
shit.
outside the
whatever.
house. Okay.
But I'll say
Yeah, outside.
I'll say okay. So in that instance, D,
and like,
that
it's
scenario,
specifically you. Like, it's clearly
like
not happening to anybody else.
and no other house. Third day, I'm laying traps. I am buying.
You got 3 days of rocks.
Spy detective shit. So like, I was just like, all right. First day, I was like, okay, whatever, kids playing around. Second day, I was like, okay, this is kind of fucking annoying. Third day, I was like, okay, this is deliberate. This is attack on me and my family and everything I hold dear.
I can just see you waking up in the morning, walking outside and seeing the rocks on your front porch. And like, all right, you fucked up. That's 3 days. That's it.
Straight up,
you fucked up.
Like, I'm gonna be out there in the middle of the night, like naked, painting myself in jet black. Actually, no. It's supposed to be navy blue because jet black is distorted at night. Navy blue is actually harder to see at night. But anyways, naked, navy blue in a tree, looking at my front yard, waiting for somebody to fuck up.
Just like Arnold Schwarzenegger hunting a predator.
For it.
Basically, I'm gonna have it's gonna be that scene in Predator where where's Arnold Schwarzenegger? And then he opens his eyes under the mud. Is like, oh shit!
You're sitting in that tree with your gun pointed. And all of a sudden, there's like a rustle in the leaves and in some bushes, and then out of those bushes comes 3 dirtbag Maryland beavers stacking bricks in front of your yard.
He's just up there in the tree. I'm gonna give me some pelts tonight.
Oh fuck yeah!
oh Jesus Christ! So
way over my head.
Movie. So, did you guys know that the kind of like grassroots viral marketing campaign around this movie led as much as 60% of the audiences who went to see it to believe that it was real found footage?
That sounds like a success.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. But like, at this time, found footage films, the only one that I can think of before this is Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh, that one's infamous. That's banned in plenty of countries.
Right. I can't think of any other found footage movies that came before this and like between those 2 movies, although I'm sure there are some.
But that one
certainly,
that one, I mean, they're so hard to compare. Their only comparison is in just the media, like the type of film that they are, because I mean, Cannibal Holocaust didn't have some major theatrical release, I don't believe.
No, but the reason I bring that up is because this was, without question, the most successful found footage film at the time. So audiences really didn't know how to respond to that.
Mm-hmm.
They loved it.
Well, they loved it insofar as like it scared the shit out of people. Like,
awesome.
Some people like had heart attacks in the theaters and shit. Like,
awesome.
Because Burkittsville, Maryland is a real place, and all the actors in the movie went by their real names. People legit sent like condolence cards and shit to the mother of Heather and the other actors because they really believed that they were dead.
That's awesome. I mean, how much money did this movie make? Because it couldn't have cost much to.
That's my favorite part. So the budget for this movie was roughly $20,000, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
It grossed $250 million at the box office.
What a return!
Making it easily the most profitable independent film at that time, and maybe to this day.
Such an incredible return.
Yeah. It's also a fun fact that it was made by a couple of UCF film students.
Really?
Yep.
Those rich bastards.
Yeah, they killed it on this one. None of their other movies were quite as popular, but I think they only made like 5.
Were they involved in the subsequent
nope.
sequels at all? Did they just sell the IP then or something?
I assume so. I assume Artisan Entertainment owns the IP. I will say though that like I don't know if you guys have seen the sequel to this movie. It is super bad.
I haven't seen any of the ones after this one. No.
Blair Witch 2 is incredibly bad. The idea of Blair Witch 2 is actually really interesting. Where it's like about people who are obsessed with the original film, that go to these woods in Maryland, which a lot of people really did, and shit starts going awry for them because the witch is actually there. Like it's like a parody in a sense.
Sure.
But then the studio stepped in. They're like, "No, dude, we need more titties and more blood."
Oh yeah, it's a horror film. Yeah.
No.
And the worst part is they were like, "We need this, and we need it before the release date. We're not pushing it back." The director's like, "Bro, the release date's in 5 weeks. Too bad, get it done." So they forced him to like record these new scenes and then just randomly splice them into the movie, and they don't make any sense. It went from this movie where like this group of tourists was out there and like it slowly escalates kind of like the first movie to all of a sudden this group of tourists goes out there, they meet another group of tourists and they murder them on the first night. And then they have to like figure out what happened because they don't remember. And you're just like, what?
What? Really?
What? Yeah, dude, it's insane.
I'd rather have a movie that nothing happens for 3/4 of it, and then I'm like flabbergasted and like still stuck in awe about the ending, than random shit happens throughout the movie to try and like grasp my attention. Because most of the time when movies do that, they fail miserably.
Yeah, it sure did. But circling back to
sense.
Well, circling back to this movie though, one thing that I will note is that this movie is really short. It's only like 80 minutes long.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, very short.
And they spend a significant amount of that time at the beginning, kids packing up to go do this documentary, driving in a car and not saying anything, having weird testimonial interviews with locals of the town, which I think, if I recall correctly, like they legit did that. Like they're just random ass people that live in Burkittsville. But they spend a significant amount of time on this to the point where like I was watching it and I've seen this movie a bunch of times, but I'm like, man, they're just kind of like dragging their feet and not doing anything.
Yeah.
Do you feel that the cast was relatable though? Like, does it do its job of feeling like legitimate found footage?
In their moments of desperation.
I was gonna say, like, as a stupid white man, yeah.
in their moments of desperation, like, yeah, I can understand why they acted the way they did. Other than Josh. Josh is a fucking idiot.
That's why
Period.
Josh got blue slimed.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
Like,
What the fuck?
fucking Josh is a retard. Like, I don't care if you don't think that anybody is smart enough to read it. Like, just keep it just in case. Fucking idiot.
Wait, are you talking about the map?
Yes.
Oh, you're talking about Mike.
Mike
Mike
is the one
kicked
who
it into
kicked
the
the map into
yeah.
the creek.
And
Oh,
I
that's
don't
my
think
bad.
that. I don't know. I don't know if he did that intentionally or if he was coerced.
I'm not even convinced that he did it.
Really.
Like the way that scene all plays out, like it almost seems like he's fucking with them the whole time. I think because of the follow up and how he's like legitimately apologizing, they probably did, but
Mhm.
like I don't know that they make a good case that like for sure that's what happened.
It seems
Either
like
way,
a
though, like
profoundly
he
stupid thing to do.
Yeah, it's
it does, but also not really. Because when you think about it, like if you have a paper map, that's only good to you if you know where you are, or even have an inkling of where you are.
not
When you're
necessarily true.
well, I mean, like, dude, like we're talking about like how big could these woods possibly be? A few miles across, maybe.
Yeah, that's what
Like
I'm.
we're talking about granular shit, and like
Mhm.
we see the map. It's not a granular map. So, like, they're gonna be like, okay, well, we're in the woods. Cool, man. The only thing that the map is gonna do for them at that point is they can be like, okay, well, the town is north. So if we use our compass and we go north, then we'll find town. That's great. But like, if you just use the compass to go in one direction the whole time, eventually in the US, you're gonna find civilization. So the map isn't going to do them a shit ton of good other than that.
Well,
And 3 to 6 days in, whenever he kicked the map into the creek, they would know damn well which direction civilization is in at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I would keep the map just in case, like, there was some sort of landmark or formation that you could match with on the map and just be like, we're here. Now we go this way, and we're definitely going to find something. And, like, we have hope. But, like, when you take any sort of cognizant guide or a legend that you can read to get ascertain, like, what position you're in, that's just stupid. Especially, like, if you know that you're lost, you keep every tool at your disposal, regardless of how idiotic you think it is to have it.
I mean, I agree with John because,
No,
like,
I mean, I agree with that.
if that map had major landmarks like rivers, or if it had topography on it, and if the person reading the map knew how to read topography markings, then that map is invaluable. And how they still hadn't found, like, she obviously was not a very good navigator to begin with, and she was overconfident, and she apologized for that. And that iconic face, like that selfie moment, face cam moment.
Importantly, not to them though.
Huh?
Yeah,
Importantly, though, she didn't apologize to them. She
it was already too
apologized into
late
the
to do that.
camera.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was. I think she was just mostly coming to terms with her mistakes, because she knew that it was all. She was saying it was all her fault.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
that doesn't do them any
the map is
favors, but
the map is without question extremely valuable. So to kick it in the water,
I don't know about without question.
I believe it's without
I
question.
still I debate whether or not it's without question for sure. Like it's arguably so here's the thing. We're not even like convincingly sure that Heather can read the map with any sort of expertise.
True.
Like especially after that like confession part of the film, it seems like she's overstating her ability to read that map
Definitely.
by quite a bit.
Definitely.
And if that's the case, the other two guys definitely can't read the map. The map is useless at that point.
yes,
But
And while
yeah.
I agree with you guys that like you just don't throw away something that potentially valuable in that situation, if that's the case, it's not doing them any good anyway. So fuck it. And I think that was Mike's point. He was like, You can't read the map. I can't read the map. He's losing his mind and can't, smoke a cigarette. Fuck the map.
I wouldn't have thrown away the map.
I wouldn't have thrown away the map either. I'm just making a point.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, they do a lot of dumb things throughout all of this. And who do you think is the most reasonable person of the three? Like, who do you think handled the situation
Mike.
the most rational way?
Mike, 100%.
I think
the map.
I think yes. I think other than the map, Mike was the most reasonable person. I agree.
Other than the inanimate object, my man Mike.
No. Other than him kicking the map into the water.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, no.
That's such a low bar to clear.
Yeah, no. I mean, other than him doing that, which almost knocks him down below Heather, but I thought he had the most realistic and reasonable reaction to this, which was, no matter what's going on, we got to get the fuck out of here. And he was that we got to fucking return the camera or the dad. We got to return the dad. I got to be at work tomorrow. He's like has legitimate concern, and he's like, let's just get the fuck out of here. Let's just head in one. I think it was his idea to just head in one direction, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, Mike, yeah, that's cool. You lost me at the map thing, but sure, yeah, you're right.
My man Mike. I don't know, man. Like, while I understand that, I will die on that hill that, like, kicking the map at that point didn't really do them any favors, but it didn't hurt them either. Like, they were so screwed at that point.
Sure.
Yeah, but if there was no net gain, like only a loss, then I think that it was still really stupid.
No, yeah, of course.
Dora the Explorer wouldn't throw away the map because she was lost.
Well, that's because in the world of
shows up.
No, that's because in the world of Dora the Explorer, the map is an actual living person. Like that.
My man, the map would have got them out of them woods real quick.
Coffin Rock, Spooky Creek, Murder House.
Map, where the hell are you? I'm the fuck out of
here. Fuck this shit. Boots, where are you? Oh god. Boots is the one that gets taken away.
Just fucking
bro. Swiper's just in the distance, cutting off his tongue and putting it in his
Swiper, no killing.
Swiper, no killing.
Dude, I cannot find that shot of the map that they have in the movie itself.
I don't remember what the map looks like other than them. I think the camera was briefly over it, but you don't see enough definition to really understand what you're looking at, and it was such a short time.
Yeah, that's kind of why I was trying to find it, because I was like, I wonder how defined that map was.
She just drew the map herself. That would be the worst. If that was the case, if she just drew the map herself, then yeah, I'm kicking that shit in the water. But if it's a legitimate, map made by a cartographer, then no, fuck off. We're keeping that.
Dude, can you imagine? She's just like hoarding the map all the time, and then like they open the map and it just says, "Find Blair Witch, go home."
Yeah, it's just a line that says Burkittsville, and then woods, and then house, and then there's like a little rock with a smiley face that says Coffin Rock, and it's just like just all drawn with crayon.
Smiley face. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, no. Now, I think I would if someone came to me and go, look, I want to make a documentary about what's something related that would be in the woods, like Roanoke or something, like another urban legend that is in a woodsy area, and it's.
I mean, that's not an urban legend though. Like that actually happened.
Well, I mean, no,
not the witchiness part of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of spooky stuff associated with the people of Roanoke and their disappearance and stuff, right? But there's countless legends. But they're like, oh, do you want to stay in the woods and have a documentary and do this for 3 days? I would probably do it. Well, I wouldn't do it now, right? But if I was like 18 or like 20, and I think I would do it then, just for the
Oh,
adventure
so
of
you're a
it.
giant wuss now?
No, I just have too much to live for. Like back when I was 18, I was just playing music and a stoner. I'd be like, yeah, fuck it, let's just whatever, let's go in the woods, But now I have a career and a wife, and I'm like, well, I have a little more responsibility than I did, 10 years ago. So I gotta be
Just a little.
a little more responsibility. So I probably wouldn't now. However, I think I would go to a haunted house. But I don't know. Well, technically, I've been in a haunted house, but it was very underwhelming.
Like a
And nothing
real
happened.
haunted?
But I was also younger then. But I would go to one now. Yeah, like an abandoned house. We snuck into one when I was younger, in a local town around us, and nothing happened. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and we had flashlights, and we sat in
But-
the house, and
But did you have guns
it was
in
just
little
kinda
coffins?
boring.
Nope.
You know what? I think that was our mistake. Oh, that's right. We
Yeah,
forgot
you forgot
our
the vat of
skeleton
acid
contraption.
in the basement.
We forgot. We forgot. Yeah,
Oh
there was
my
no
God.
acid. We forgot our.
Not
We
like they
forgot
didn't
our
have a
hanging
good
vest.
spook room.
We were
Not
really ill
even.
prepared.
Never a good spook room.
Nothing.
Jesus Christ.
Absolutely nothing.
Fucking.
God, a bunch of amateurs, dude. And I didn't have. I think the number one thing I forgot. I didn't have a really bitchy and deprecating wife that I could just pour my life's issues on.
No, like
I was
instead of
just by
having such an
myself.
understanding and loving partner who I have like really good communication with, I would love to have a wife that I could have like, waspy, condescending remarks every 2 seconds back and forth. That'd be great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Joke
it would
about
be
how
the
you're gonna kill
best
each other.
marriage ever.
Yeah.
So
those are the good
let
old
me
times.
ask you gentlemen this.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the general quality of the performances? Not just the main characters, like of everybody.
They were good. I mean, I didn't fault the movie for like the acting and stuff like that. Like, if I didn't know before going into this movie that this was like faked, I would have generally been like, "What the fuck?" I would have like literally just been like, gone on my laptop and just like, "What the fuck happened to these people?" Like angry Kermit typing GIF and everything. Exactly.
Wait a second.
That's exactly what would have happened. So I mean, it's good, especially the whole like the iconic selfie portrait that's been copied and done to death after it was portrayed.
Mm-hmm. I think the acting is actually incredible. It's I think it makes me feel really uncomfortable, especially the face cam shot. Like you really do feel so uncomfortable with that. Like you feel like that's a person's real reaction. Actually, I'll tell you the moment that made me the most anxious out of the entire movie. It's when Heather first opened the bundle of sticks that were wrapped with the tattered pieces of Josh's flannel shirt and finds the tongue. And her hyperventilating in that moment gave me a visceral reaction of anxiety. Like that's something that you would experience from like actually going through that. Like that really like, oh my God, like I'm getting so anxious watching this moment right now. Like because that's exactly what someone would do. They would panic and hyperventilate, and like it just felt so real at that moment. I think the acting in this movie is super, super good. They made a good decision of killing Josh first. I think Mike and Heather were better actors, but ultimately, it's really, really, really good because they're not like they're just amateur enough to pull off trying to make an amateur documentary. So in the scenes where they were using the black and white camera and she was like standing in front of the cemetery and like making her monologue and talking about the the Blair Witch and the killings of the kids and stuff like that. It felt amateurish enough to where you'd be like, okay, I can see this, like it kind of puts you into the meta of the film, and it makes you really believe that these are real people that are trying to make a documentary, but they're just not experts at it. They're just, they're just amateurs. What are you going to do? So when they get in over their heads, it's legitimate. And especially like the screaming in the house towards the end, I thought was pretty good. Like hearing her in the background freaking out for Mike because he's running down into the basement and stuff.
Yeah.
It was good. I loved it. I really did.
So I've been looking at it because I didn't remember a tongue, and I was like, dude, was his tongue in that bundle? Or whatever. Apparently not. Just want to throw that out there. Apparently not.
Wait, what?
What was what?
Sorry, I was reading something while you were talking.
I was just
Sorry,
saying that
derail.
you're wrong.
Yeah.
There's no tongue in that bundle of joy.
That's funny. I've been like
What?
looking for that shit this whole time. Good
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
there
was
was.
super distracted by the fact that you said there was a tongue in there. I was like,
God.
there was a tongue in there?
See, like, Dean, that what you just did right there is exactly how I act when something I can't explain happens in the house. Like, literally, everything is irrelevant until I figure out this mystery.
Hold on. Don't make it seem like I wasn't listening to this man while he was talking about how amateur these guys are.
Oh, no. First of all, Kim hates it, the fact that I could literally be doing 30 things and still listen to her conversation, and she thinks I'm not listening, and I'll repeat verbatim, word for word, everything she said up to that point. She hates that.
Well,
I understand that.
Rude.
No, but
it's a finger.
But I'm still saying, like, I still pay attention, and I can process that information, even though it looks like I'm not. But again, just like you did, I can pay attention to other things, but that thing that you're researching is equatable to like anything I can't figure out that happens in the house. I will focus on that until I figure it out.
Was it not a tongue?
Oh my god!
Oh my god, dude! Like he's just like so destroyed
timing.
now.
Perfect time. God, I love this shit.
It was just teeth.
A lock of his hair in what was meant to be Josh's teeth. I'm looking at a picture and I see a finger that I missed on my first viewing
there's
too.
There's a finger in there?
What am I to believe of what I'm looking at?
I don't know.
I thought it was a tongue. I thought I saw like the classic ridge of a tongue, and it looked meaty and
meaty and delicious. I would have put it in a top after a slow cook.
Tooth, big molar, tooth, hair, and blood. That's it. That's all I see.
What fucking image are you? What are you looking at?
What are you looking at?
You guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Okay, that's a bunch of teeth, hair, and blood. What are you talking about?
I see a finger. Bottom left of that, I see a little phalange.
Dude, that's a tooth. That's like a canine.
Dude, it looks. Okay. For scale, right next to that is a molar. That's like an infant nail, if that's a finger, dude. That's a molar?
Yes.
Honestly, I think what fucked me up was the scale of it. I thought it was bigger. So, like, if that was a tongue, like that red little block of flesh.
If the molar was a tongue, then yeah, it could have been a finger.
Wait, that whole big red thing is just one tooth?
Yes. It's not nearly as big as you think it is.
Oh my god, I was so fucking wrong. That looks... What? Dude.
Oh my god, I just like destroyed
That looks
Jordan's
like a huge
mind.
tongue. That doesn't look right.
Dude.
No, this is fucking me up.
Here. Hold on. Let me send you this other picture. That is her holding the bundle. Like, look how small it is, dude.
Okay. Well, no, the bundle was a little bit bigger than just that one image alludes
That's
to.
an image
because
of
she had to use,
it. What are you talking about?
well, it's a zoomed in image. The actual bundle extends past the image that you posted.
Oh my god. I can't with you. The point is, like,
Did the director confirm it was a tooth?
yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Well, then of course I can't argue with that, but it doesn't look like a fucking tooth.
Like, those are real human teeth that they got from a dentist.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which, I mean, like, that's kind of disturbing, but nevertheless.
How is that disturbing? Like, what do you think the dentist does with the teeth that they pull out?
You can buy teeth on Wish.
You can go dumpster diving for human soluble fat.
Anyway. Oh my god, dude. Like,
Hold on.
oh god, he's so
I'm
obsessed
getting-
with the teeth.
I'm getting mixed
Coming
fucking
from the person
results
who
here when I
had,
look
like,
this up, man.
Jordan made that comment so long ago, and you're just like, is it really a tongue?
Upon closer inspection, the shirt is covered in blood, and inside they find unidentifiable items, of which fan speculation has called teeth, hair, a finger, a tongue, bone, and or Josh's necklace. That's not from the horse's mouth, right? So, like, all I'm seeing is tongue, finger, hair, maybe a tooth, like the little white thing in the corner of the shot.
Oh my god, Jordan, I swear to... Hold on. Where's the thing?
That's what she said. Yes!
Here, this article looks legitimate. Blair
Good
Witch Project
Lord.
ending explained, all your questions answered.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, is that the
March
same one that I'm
7th,
looking at?
2019?
No, it's
Wrote
not.
this article in 2019?
There.
What the fuck are you doing?
There you go. That's the excerpt from this article that you need. Production designer Ben Rock confirmed that they were hold on. What's inside the bundle? He confirmed that it's Josh's actual flannel shirt that contained a lock of his hair and what was meant to be Josh's teeth, which Rock confirmed were actual human teeth. Are you satisfied yet?
He's not. You can tell by the
Yeah,
silence.
the fact
I'm not, because
the fact that he didn't answer.
I'm
is
obviously
like, no.
not the only one that was confused by that. Now, of
Dude,
course, the
that's
image
the
that we see.
production designer of the movie.
I
Who else
can't
would
argue that. I'm
know?
just saying it doesn't look like it.
It may not, but that's literally what it is. Like, I don't
That's
know.
fine. That's fine. I secede. That's fine. However, it just doesn't look like it. I've always known that to be a tongue.
Oh my god. Dude, like,
It's just weird. It's just I don't know. It just doesn't look like. It's almost like the shot that we see is filmed through a cheap camera, right? It's just so weird.
almost.
I think it was the intentional camera quality, of course, being amateur, and just the quick shot of it. I always thought it was a tongue. All right, I stand corrected.
Are you good?
Yeah, fucking Josh has mutant tongue teeth, so whatever.
Tongue teeth. Oh my god. So circling back to the performances in this movie
Yep.
from like an hour ago.
Uh-huh.
I just want to give a shout out to the fishermen. Like, their banter back and forth was top tier.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it felt so real, right?
It did. The way that they would just like cut each other off mid sentence
Interrupting.
and shit.
Like, it
Mhm.
seemed super organic.
Like, if that was
Absolutely.
like a legitimate scripted scene, those dudes are like unbelievable actors. Or they did that shot like 1,000 times.
I think it had to have been like those two people had to have known each other prior to this. Like, they had to have been friends or actual father-son, and they had to have just been doing that, like, what seemed to be all improv. Because it was so organic. It felt like I was just watching a recording of a father and a son, or two friends, two really close friends, you know?
For real.
It was done really well.
Not just them though. Like you guys were talking about scenes between the main characters, and like I know Jordan, you mentioned specifically the scene where Heather ugly cries into the camera for 20 minutes. But actually the scene for me that I was like, man, this is like really like legit acting, was when they're trying to figure out what happened to the map and Mike finally says that he kicked into the creek and all that. Like, the way that they lose their shit on him was super realistic.
Yeah.
That had to have been improv.
I think so.
How organic it felt. I think a lot of the dialogue had to have been improv, because so much of it just felt like exactly what you would expect someone to react in that situation. Like, just being so crass and angry and just pissed off at Mike in that situation. Like, Heather nailed the reaction.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely nailed it.
Speaking of Heather, like, she actually cries in that up close camera shot too, which is not something you typically see in any movie, much less a low budget one like this.
Yeah. They acted their ass off.
Except for Josh.
It shows.
Rip Josh.
Why do you think he was marked first by Slimer? Like, why do you think that he was the first one to die? Because wasn't it Mike that knocked over the rocks at the first site that they found?
I don't know who it was, because like we don't see that happen, and they just pan like, did you knock over that rock? Like, yeah, I did. So I can't remember who it was. Like, the subtitles say like Mike kicked over rocks or whatever, but like I don't remember who it actually was. My best guess, if it's not that he was the one who kicked over the rocks, was that he was the one who was losing his mind the first, and so she just kind of like targeted him as an easy target.
Well, I actually thought that Mike was the one that was losing it first.
Oh no, dude! Like the first scene where somebody was losing it was Josh, when Mike and Heather were over there, and Heather was like, "We just got to go, man. He's got to nut up, and we got to get out of these woods." And
and he was crying.
Yeah,
you're right.
And he asked him for a cigarette.
I guess technically that he was the first one to break down, but before that, Mike was, I guess, the first one to really start getting belligerent and angry.
Oh yeah, Mike was pissed off. My man Mike was not having this bullshit situation.
Yeah, and then Josh was trying to be he's trying to like keep things copacetic and trying to keep the peace between Heather and Mike, because they had a lot of tension, because he just wasn't happy with her filming. And then I think you're right. Josh was the first one to really. No, actually, Josh got marked before that, because because
he was crying about the blue slime during that scene.
He already had there's fucking slime all over my stuff, man.
You're
like
right.
He had already been marked before that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know. Maybe they just knew he was the weakest. I don't know. Which I guess he was. Sure. We never see a body. We never see him again. They just implied that he's dead off camera.
Yep.
You know.
Oh,
so
he was the one who disturbed the rocks.
Was he?
Apparently. I just started looking into Blair Witch Project fan theories and all this crazy shit, but apparently he was the one who knocked it over.
You went down the rabbit hole?
I thought it was Mike.
Oh, dude, I went down the rabbit hole last night. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I was deep down the rabbit hole.
Jesus Christ.
That video that I sent you guys to watch, thanks for taking the time.
No problem.
I watched it.
I know you did. I wasn't talking to anybody specifically, but if there was somebody who didn't watch it, I might be talking to them. Anyway,
good thing there's so many people here.
That was one of many videos that I watched last night after I watched this movie.
Jesus Christ.
Bro, I just got totally off topic, but I was just reminded of, do you know that YouTuber? He's like, he doesn't really get memed on anymore, but he used to about 2 years ago. He made all like the spooky YouTube videos, and he's like, they never knew what happened that night, but
No,
have you ever seen any of his movies? I feel like an idiot explaining it.
I mean,
Or his YouTube videos.
You're doing a terrible
Yeah.
job, so I have no idea.
Well, honestly, my impression was spot on. He's that bad. I'm looking it up. I'm already looking it up.
God damn it.
Anyway, he was just infamous because his narrating was so obnoxious, and it was so off-putting and hilarious that no matter what he made videos about, it just distracted to the point of where only like the people commenting were just commenting about his funny ass way of narrating.
Oh, here's a theory that Josh is actually the witch himself, that there is no witch, there's nothing spooky, and Josh is just fucking with them the whole time and murdered them out in the woods.
Sounds like something Josh would do.
Damn it, Josh!
What? How is he making those sounds when they were all together in the tent?
Speakers.
He hired Bigfoot.
I think that theory falls up.
You know what he did? He went
quick.
to those fucking malicious beavers out there in the woods and made a pact.
Dude, it was the beavers that were fucking with the tent.
the
all that
beavers
noise
were
was them chopping
shaking
trees
the tent.
down. Crap! I'm never gonna find this dude's videos. I gotta find them because they're so. It's so funny to hear him talk. Damn it!
All right. Let's circle back.
I'll take this offline. I'll take it offline.
So if you guys had to identify with anybody, which one of these three do you think you are?
Mike.
100%. I think I'm Heather.
I love that you just admitted that so quickly. You're just like, I'm Heather.
I mean, I'm not an idiot. I know I'm Heather. Like, I would absolutely.
Well,
like, can you guys read? Can you guys even read topographical maps? Because you're freaking idiots, dude. Give me the compass. I bought it. Like, that would be me. So,
Jordan's that a-hole. I bought this compass. Oh my god, dude. I don't know. Like, I feel like I would be the Mike of the group who's getting pissed off that like I'm stuck in the fucking woods because some a-hole is over here saying they can read a map and we're walking in circles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to go with Mike for that reason alone, dude. Like, I just can't imagine any response to the situation other than being real pissed at Heather.
Exactly. Like, if we got out of that situation, I would not talk to any of those people ever again.
Oh shit. But then again, like, I can also kind of relate to Josh in that, like, if I got marked with some blue goo, like, I'm losing my shit too. I'm not fucking maniac John over here who's just like, it's just blue goo, guys. Whatever. I'm sure the beavers spit blue goo in the middle of the night.
Nah, fuck
It's
that.
fine.
I'm sorry. Like, you can't explain blue goo in the natural occurring environment in the forest. Like, if I have come in contact with blue goo on the Discovery Channel or Animal Planet or some shit like that, and I can explain it, sure. But if there's fucking blue goo on my stuff, no.
Oh, so the blue goo is where you're gonna lose it?
I'm gonna be pissed. Yes. I'd be pissed.
That's exactly
you're
where
just
I was going
mad.
with that.
Like, you're not even concerned yet. You're still just like, God damn blue goo.
He's like, John, these rocks are really freaking me out. Fuck those rocks. Look at all the slime on my stuff.
Basically, in a
I'm
nutshell.
never gonna get this out of my phone, man.
The rocks would fuck me up way more than some goo.
I'd kick those fucking rocks over while you're complaining about it. I don't give a fuck about this shit.
No, I gotta go with the goo, man. Like, the rocks would freak me out, but like, then only blue goo is all over my shit. I'm going full Josh mode at that point. Like, I need a cigarette.
Exactly. Yep.
Like, that's it, man.
Where did the explanation of the goo even come from? Because that wasn't part of the mythos at all. There was no mention of this crazy witch who's out for revenge, and she's just also a slime YouTuber. Like where did any of that come from?
Where's like, what's the whole like witch's deal? Is that explained upon in any of the movies?
It is kind of explained, like the myth of it is explained through the interviews through the town people.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I've already forgot, Mary, maybe? No, Mary was the woman that came back after having the encounter. There was some woman that was blamed for witchcraft, and I forgot how she died, but she was killed. And then after that, kids started disappearing and stuff. And then also she made this other dude in the 1920s, 30s, something like that. She like apparently manipulated him into killing more children, and that's where the whole like facing away from the like facing the corner of the room, and like while someone dies, whole thing comes from, is that guy. And that he came back to town after killing like 8 or 7 kids and leaving one alive. He came back to town. He's like, I'm done. I'm finally done. He was talking about the witch manipulating him because she told him, after you do all this and you go into town and tell everyone, I'll leave you alone. And then they just ended up hanging him.
That sucks.
I think I was close, more or less. I'm probably missing a few details, but that's like at a high level what happened, right, Dean?
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better.
Well, that's a lie. There's plenty
No.
of ways to say that better. But they thought she was a witch after the whole Salem thing, but people were still super superstitious, and children at the time thought she was a witch because she was doing witchy things, and they tied her to an either tree or a cart and left her in the black woods to just die of exposure and whatever else was out there. So then her spirit then haunted the woods and killed indiscriminately.
Indiscriminately.
What the fuck? Theory 6? What? KY jelly? The fuck? This just became some sort of obtuse lovers quarrel? What the fuck? Why would you post me? It hurts my brain.
Well, I broke Jordan. It was only fair that I break you too.
I don't appreciate that. Not one bit.
That's a dumb theory.
Like,
sorry, I was reading
gentlemen,
it. That's dumb.
Do you guys want to read that out for the class?
I'll read it out for the class. Was this theory 6 about the slime? Like, there are 5 other ones?
There's 8 other ones.
Cool. So,
shit.
theory 6 of 8. Tim. I guess Tim came up with this theory.
6 of 9.
6 of 9. Great, they grow.
7 of 10.
My friend think that's a good start. My friend thinks that the slime was really KY jelly, and Heather found it in Josh's bag. Got mad at him because he was probably planning on fucking her, so he dumped it all. So she dumped it all over his stuff. He got mad and left them in the night and started fucking with their heads. Then at the end, he kills them. They were getting fucked with well before she found his love cream. So
Love cream?
that doesn't make any sense.
God, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to steal that from you. I'm gonna have to just randomly use that.
So you're not a big fan of that theory? Is what you're trying to say?
Stupid
It's a fun theory.
No,
it sounds like a
it's
porn
dumb.
parody, but it doesn't necessarily doesn't fly with my head canon.
It's
What about
so dumb.
theory 7? That the slime could have been ectoplasm.
Yeah.
I think I think I'll take that over anything else.
I'll take that over
Over
KY
anything
jelly
else?
any day.
Yeah,
I'll take that
Slimer
over
himself.
KY jelly over anything
Yeah.
else.
Slimer himself came by, was looking for some goodies, and barfed up all over Josh's stuff.
Oh my god, dude. So, speaking of insane things, am I the only one who thinks that these three kids are fucking idiots? Like,
No.
just like not even
They're
talking about like their bad decisions. Well, I guess kind of. But like specifically, at what point when you're getting fucked with night in and night out, do you stop getting wholly undressed and trying to sleep? Like, just stop doing that. How many times are you gonna be woken up in the middle of the night like, hold on, dude, I gotta put on my pants and my boots. Oh shit. Oh god, she's shaking the tent. Hold on. I haven't tied my laces yet, Blair Witch.
Yeah, and then that's another thing. It's like, why would you sleep fully clothed if it's so cold?
That's a great point that I hadn't thought about.
Like, what? That's just common sense. I was like, yeah, you can like huddle up to someone for body warmth, but unless your clothes are like straight up drenched or damp, you stay in those motherfuckers while you're sleeping if it's so cold. You do not want to catch hypothermia.
Straight up, dude.
That's yeah. I don't really have an answer for that. I mean, I know why they would camp, right?
Yeah.
Fuck not having a fire. The rest of the nights, I would have had a raging fire.
Yeah.
I would have burnt the whole damn woods down. I would have.
You just start cutting down trees. It's like we're gonna clear our viewpoint. And we're gonna
Yeah,
find civilization one way or another.
Yeah.
You
I'd
know
start
what
a-
though?
I'd
There's
start a
some
damn
logic to
logging
that.
company.
Yeah.
I was
There's actually some logic to that. If you burn the woods down, the fire department's gonna come. And they're gonna get you the fuck out of there. And if they don't, you're gonna have fire to light the way all night long, so you know where to run.
Yeah, that is true. Why do I just imagine Jordan just in the middle of this fire, just like dancing and shit, naked? He's like, they're gonna find us now. Everything's gonna be all right.
Don't worry, guys. My pagan gods are coming to appease me.
hell yeah.
But we need
Oh my god.
But I would
sacrifices.
have a huge fire if that was me. I would be like that entire 5th day or the 6th day that they wasted waiting for Josh, just sitting there at their campsite. So dumb. I would have gathered just an unreasonable amount of wood at that moment and just lit that shit up and just had a roaring fire all night long, even if it only served to illuminate the spooks that were surrounding our camp and causing a ruckus and rabble rousing. At least I would have fire, and in that there is some semblance of safety, because I would be waving a flaming log around like I was a damn caveman at that witch or something. I don't know, some primal thing. But
Dude,
I would have had a fire going, definitely.
I'm kind of with you, dude. Like by night 5 or so, I'm like, fuck it, we're burning these woods to the ground.
Their idea was, oh, well, let's not light fires because they're obviously finding us. Motherfucker, they're finding you anyway, so light the
Well-
biggest fire you can possibly can.
Well, hold on. They said that on night 3 after they had 2 fires. So like, let's not have a fire so that they don't find us via fire.
Yeah, well,
At that
night
point,
3,
it made sense.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, I agree for one night. But night
Oh,
3
yeah, you're right,
was
you're right.
way worse. And so then night 4, 5, and 6, I would have
Raging
absolutely had
Inferno.
I would have had a blazing, absolutely irresponsible fire outside of my tent.
Set Josh's KY jelly on fire first.
Stop it.
That ectoplasm is a great fire starter.
Ugh.
Speaking of which, though, I thought it was a really nice touch. Was it night 3 or 4 when he was asking if it's almost dawn, and she says it's 3 a.m. I was like, oh, that's a great touch. I don't know how many people are going to catch that, but that's good.
Why?
That's a good
Because
little-
it's the witching hour.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Nice little note. And actually, so reading my notes, I don't know why I noted this. Their first night there, they had no fire because it was raining. The second
Dude,
night,
obsessed with the fucking fire.
I really am. But the second
Yeah.
night, oh, and I guess they
Fire
had
and tongues.
the first night. That's the next Tolkien book.
Wait, is Tolkien the next Blair Witch?
I
How is he
meant
going to
to-
write it from the grave?
I meant to say Martin. I was thinking of Game of Thrones, but I said Tolkien.
A song of fire and tongues.
Jesus Christ. When is he gonna finish that shit? I'm so pissed.
Well, Never is looking pretty good right now.
God damn it.
I like
feel
how
like he's gonna
Yeah.
have it almost ready, and then something's gonna unforeseen is gonna happen, and we're never gonna get good.
maybe he gave the ending to the writers.
No, he fucking didn't.
Well, maybe that is the ending that was actually in the series, and he's like, people didn't like that, and I'm already halfway done writing that, so I don't know what to do now.
That is what happened, though. Like the showrunners for Game of Thrones, like he gave them his rough draft for how the show was or
Yeah.
the books were gonna end.
Yeah, and they pissed all over the last season because they wanted to make Star Wars.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and then, which honestly, for all the, I don't want to get in a long discussion about this, but for all the hate that Game of Thrones gets, I don't mind the major plot points of the last season. But the major plot points that they forced through felt like not a half a season's worth of story. It felt like at least a season and a half or 2 seasons worth of a story. If they were able to flesh that out in a more reasonable way, instead of just dumping on characters that have been developed very thoroughly the previous seasons, then I think it would have ended a lot better with keeping with the same results.
So speaking of the Blair Witch Project, since we're not talking about it at all,
I just wanted to say my piece, but I know that's a long
Alright.
conversation, so let's move on.
Oh, it's such a long conversation.
yeah, I don't even want to touch that.
Everyone loves a story. They had a good story. Heather could have been king, right? If she didn't die.
You're gonna be king. That's your motivation.
Fucking Heather.
That was Josh's motivation.
I like how when they were buying food for their camping trip, they just bought a whole shit ton of junk food. They bought s'mores and all kinds of garbage when they were going through the store.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they didn't know they were gonna be stuck out there for a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they were supposed to come back the same day, weren't they? Oh no, because they got s'mores and shit. So at least one day.
I think it was supposed to be
Well, you could
two
survive
nights.
off s'mores for one.
I think it was supposed to be,
Oh,
I think
was
it
it
was supposed to
two
be 2
nights?
nights. Yeah. I thought it was interesting when they were talking with one of the townspeople, Mary, who was the old
Mary
Mary
Brown.
Brown, the older woman who apparently had an encounter and got away. Probably from I would assume, just by the witch's blessing, right? Just she didn't feel like killing Mary Brown. I don't know what that was about, but
Turns out it wouldn't be the first time that happened in the history of the Blair Witch, but we'll get into that some other time.
she describes her as a woman who never touches the ground, right? So kind of a floating woman type figure with excessive black hair all over her body, like a horse's mane. Did she not just see Bigfoot jumping?
Oh my god, dude. You just can't let it go, can you?
Hey, it can all be explained. Asshole beavers and Bigfoot. That's this.
And KY jelly.
That's my that's the
no KY jelly.
That's the Blair Witch book. Beavers, Beavers, Bigfoot, jelly. That'll be the title.
You need to get a B in there. The 3 B's.
It needs to be 3
Beavers, Bigfoot, and
butt jelly.
Oh god.
Wow. Jesus Christ.
Butt jelly.
I was gonna go with like blueberry jelly, but I guess that works.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen, is there anything else you want to bring up about this movie before we wrap up this episode of the show?
Let me go through my notes.
Other than butt jelly?
No more butt jelly! Oh, actually, one thing that I did want to talk about, since we're talking about the interviews with the townspeople, I thought it was a nice touch that that whole bit where she makes one of them stand in the corner while she kills the other one comes back around at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
That was a really nice touch.
Was that the
Wait, does she make them do that, or does he do that to protect himself?
No, he was
Well,
the implication was he was made to do that.
Oh,
Which to me didn't make much sense because was that the witch's way of killing or was that the serial killer's way of killing? But then why would the serial killer that was being influenced by the witch, why would he have any influence here now?
well, maybe that's the witch's way of doing things, and she just did it through him before.
I guess
yeah.
that's what we're led to assume. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was standing in the corner and she was freaking out, Mike, kind of like that ESPN commercial, the oral segment, Mike.
Ugh.
So, yeah, that part was definitely one of the creepiest. Was
You want to
spooky.
go down the Mary Brown did it theories?
No.
That she was the witch?
Yeah.
She had that weird stick gait, right? They emphasized that shot of like she had these bundled sticks as a gate into her place.
Yeah.
And she didn't look like she looked a little creepy. The actress that they had playing Mary Brown in the film, the older lady, she looked a little creepy. Could Mary Brown have done all of that though?
Well, let's see. Mary Brown is controlled by the witch. Mary says that the witch's body is completely covered in hair or fur like a horse. While Mary's saying all of this, she's wearing long sleeves, and it seems that tufts of hair are sticking out by her wrists. Maybe I imagine this, but several others have noted the same thing. Also, Mary comments that the witch's face is strange looking. Look at Mary's face!
Excellent.
Oh my god. Faces don't get much weirder than that, folks. Jesus.
Did she actually
Christ.
have?
First of all, that's kind of an asshole thing to say about a real person. What else does it say? Mary's fence and gate are made of sticks, which are tied together, not unlike the stickmen that we see later in the film. On top of all of this, Mary tells Heather about the piles of stones in the trees. It is as if Mary is slyly revealing that she is the witch. Also, Mary is the only person that we know of to have seen the witch and survived. She's definitely responsible for the murders. All of the theories about Josh, Heather, and Mike do not hold water. The murders had to have been executed by either someone with incredible intelligence and strength or someone with supernatural powers. I'm actually not sure about that last bit. Like, did they?
I mean, it'd be a cool twist if Mary Brown was just a conduit or a puppet, being used by the witch just to still observe and interact with the town, maybe to lure people into the woods however she can.
Oh, Theory 4 was written by me. Let's see. I believe it was the townspeople of Burkittsville, perhaps a member of some sort of bizarre cult, maybe even revolving around Ellie Kedward, who were dude, the English on this page hurts me. Were behind the disappearance of the group. Several facts fact up my theory.
Fact.
Who wrote this?
About to fact this up.
First, they interviewed a number of townspeople, so it certainly wasn't a secret as to what they were doing. The campers were not harassed their first night in the woods, perhaps giving the townspeople time to plan and set up the numerous twiggies. Twiggies? That's what those things are. Not even good. And stone piles in the forest. Second, the supposed search for the three began on October 25th with the first issuing of the APB by local police. Given that Heather, Josh, and Mike had made it clear to numerous townspeople that they were going to study the Blair Witch and Josh's car was found on Black Rock Road, the authorities should have had a rough guess of where to begin looking. Rustin Parr's house being on the top of the list. By that time, at least Heather and Mike were still alive and wandering in the area. A determined search party making a lot of noise would surely have found them. I believe the authorities did not begin searching until the 26th of October, when the state police were called in and then most likely misled the police to search in areas they knew would not contain Heather and Mike. Family members of the missing were generally unimpressed with the local chief of police, and with good reason. A cult of townspeople would be able to harass the three filmmakers 24 hours a day by working in shifts. Further, maybe this is a cult with a long history. A cult such as this could also have been responsible for the death of the search party for Robin Weaver. The 5 unfortunate men could have been overpowered and killed. Look to the townspeople. My guess is that Mary Brown is their high priestess. What do you think? Did I nail it?
Awful.
I don't mind that one.
Terrible.
It's okay.
Don't like it.
I just believe that there's a spooky old witch out there with some KY jelly just tossing it at teens. That's my headcanon. Listen, just a horn.
A really spooky, horny witch.
Just a spooky, horny witch.
That's gross.
She was trying to be like, hey, yo, Josh, look how much jelly I got, yo.
You ready for this?
Well, just come over here and smang it, girl.
Yo, that little bit of hair and a tooth, that was a crime of passion, dude. Passionate love making.
Yeah.
And they heard Josh in that house, and they never found him. They just died.
Yeah.
True.
True that.
True.
Yell screams of love.
However,
God,
if we think back to the 7 children that were murdered in that house, the one that got away was there in the opposite corner and had to listen as all the other 7 children were murdered.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Josh was just in the other corner and we never saw him.
Maybe. It's pretty fucked up to think about.
Yeah,
The whole movie's fucked up when you think about it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who do you think was actually fucking with the tent? Do you think it was the witch, or do you think it was because that same night is when they heard the children's voices? Do you think it was like the ghosts of the children that were murdered that were fucking with the tent, or do you think it was actually the witch that was fucking with it?
Maybe they're trying to warn them to get the fuck out of there. I don't know.
I mean, they were laughing.
Well, with the foreknowledge that they were supposed to see the witch on the side when they were running away, I would say the children. But given that that's not actually in the movie, I would say probably the witch.
Okay. Well, that answered my question then. Who was that mean old witch? She was out of KY. Just asking a neighbor.
She's just like stomping into this campsite. Oh shit, I spilled it all. Ooh.
She's like, wake up, I need KY. But really, it was just kids laughing. That's how she communicates.
That's so bad.
They had a few funny little moments of dialogue between them. The first night when they were talking about the cackling they heard in the woods, Mike was like, if I heard a cackle, I would shit my pants. I actually laughed when he said that.
Dude, first of all, if I heard cackling in the middle of the night, I'm like, fuck this, guys. We are out of here right goddamn now.
Yeah.
I'm making a bundle of sticks. I'm setting it on fire for a torch, and we are leaving. Fuck this. Like I'm playing with no cackling.
Yeah, I don't fuck around like that.
Even if my man Mike was like, I heard cackling and I didn't hear shit, I'm like, we're out. Let's go. That's enough for me.
Yeah, I mean, they hiked. So the second night is when they heard really loud noises in the woods. That was all. But then the next day, the third day, they spent the whole fucking day hiking. You can hike 20 miles in a day, sun up to sundown, and they didn't get
you can
anywhere.
get a lot further than that.
Well, I'm just saying with rests and with them carrying so much heavy equipment, like you can get really far. The fact that they didn't get anywhere at all, I mean, they're just going in circles. I mean, of course, they made that evident later in the film when they found the same log again, But
Right.
I mean, just the ineptitude there is just outstanding. Follow the creek.
Just basic survival knowledge, you know what I mean?
I think what you're trying to say is the spook there was too high.
Fuck
The
you, dude.
spook is too damn high.
You're a piece of shit.
Look, those beavers had no problem finding them, so I don't know how the fuck they couldn't get out of those woods. Going through my notes. Is there anything else I want to bring up? I mean, I really enjoyed the movie. It was a lot spookier than I remember it being. It was a very anxiety-ridden movie. It's good stuff. Pile of rocks. Lost the map. Mike is laughing and losing it after they lost the map because he knows that he kicked it into the creek. Oh, what do you think about I guess we glanced over, but what do you guys think about the voodoo stuff that they mentioned? The sticks, the totems, whatever you want to call them.
I think it gives a nice element of spook to the movie. I think anytime you delve into the supernatural like that, whether it's
lore,
whether it's witchcraft or ghosts or whatever, I think that's unsettling to most people. Maybe not my stone cold friend John over here, who's not bothered by fucking anything, but
You're like, it's fascinating how these trees grow up here. Look at this. It almost looks like a man.
Look at that. Huh, look at that. My name is carved in blood right here. That seems unusual. It's some weird ass beavers.
This indigenous slime mold has grown on my back overnight. Curious.
That's the consistency of KY jelly for some reason.
Fine.
Well, if you gentlemen have nothing else that you want to discuss, I guess that time has come.
Hold on. Seventh night. I'm scrubbing my notes.
Got his notes.
Oh, it was Josh's. It was Josh's voice when they were going to the house. You hear someone yelling, "Please follow my voice." That's what led them into the house itself. Yeah. I don't know if I would have entered that house, no matter what. I would have just been like, "Nah, you can die in there. You can go fuck yourself."
Like, I don't like you that much.
Mike was the one that barreled into the house.
You're fine.
I'd be like, "Nah, fuck you, Mike. You can go. You can die. I'll just chill out here. I'll die outside the house. I'm not dying inside the house." Oh, the bloody handprints on the wall. Remember those?
Yeah. Children.
Well, they were like black. Are we supposed to infer that they're
dried blood? So I think the inference is that it's just dried, bloody handprints. So they come off in the dark and in the shitty camera quality black, but I think it's supposed to be just dried blood. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Those were spooky. There were so many of them. Kind of awkwardly placed on the stairway to damn, you're quick with that. But yeah, I mean, I've said all I can. The movie's great. I could have sworn, and I could have sworn that I remembered seeing the witch at least once in the movie, but you don't see shit. But I could have sworn, I could have sworn at the end you see them in the house or something. I was waiting for like a pop up or something, but nothing.
Nothing at all. So, gentlemen, we have come to that point in the show.
Schmear.
Jordan, how much spook are you giving this movie?
Oh, this one's getting a good. I was gonna give it 53 out of 19, but I actually think it deserves the 54. So if I'm saying 54 out of 19 spook for me. Extremely suspenseful movie, had me riddled with anxiety for the majority of it. acting is extremely I want to say underrated because I don't feel like I hear anyone praise the actors in this movie, but they nailed what I believe people in that situation would act like, and it was great. I mean, it's a classic, and it's a cult classic for a reason. I would
Yeah.
highly recommend anyone watch it. It's quick too. You got 80 minutes. Everyone's got 80 minutes. Stop scrolling through Reddit or Instagram. Quit fucking around. Watch this movie.
What about you, John?
I'll give it a spoon
Oh
because the
wow.
beginning was meh, but the ending was really powerful. Like that shit kind of threw me for a loop, and then it just ends. I'm just like, oh, well, fuck. I guess I got to go on with my life after that. So yeah, I mean, the acting was good. It's just it was halfway through. It was kind of a drudge, but I get it. That's how they set it up. So, but the ending was spectacular.
I would say that this movie, for me, I think that this movie kind of has lost its charm over the years. It's good. I would
Mm-hmm.
consider it probably a classic,
Mm-hmm.
but not a classic insofar as like Halloween or one of those movies that you can just watch forever and it's just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
So
It
with
was
that
definitely
in
more. It was definitely more powerful when everybody thought it was like real.
right, right, or at least when you could like consider. I mean, even not even that though. Like I just think that it's not quite a really good movie anymore. Like
Mm-hmm.
the quality of films in general has gone so far up that this movie just doesn't quite nail it anymore. Like
Yeah.
they waste a ton of time at the beginning of the movie just doing jack shit, which in fairness does kind of circle back around with the rocks in the trees and the standing in the corner thing. So like it's not wasted time,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
it's not super engaging time either. It's not super endearing.
Exactly.
So and that kind of goes on for a long time. Like I think there's a lot of really great ideas and there's the actors, I cannot stress enough how good the actors in this movie are. It's unbelievable for a film with this low of a budget how good they are. But even despite that, I think the movie's just kind of okay at this point. So I'm going to give it I think I'm going to give it a spook. Out of spook.
I
Jesus
think that
Christ.
the impact would be. I think the impact of this movie can still remain high on those who are not indoctrinated as we are into movies, right? So if you found a standard middle schooler, high schooler right now who I would say probably an average one, so and give them this movie first time watching it, they'll probably be pretty spooked, right?
Sure.
I don't think that impact loses its legitimacy. I think that we've just seen a lot better versions of this movie. I think Paranormal Activity really kind of ruins it for me because that's done very well.
Yeah.
But I think that it can still really remain really spooky for people getting into these types of movies, or if they're just younger and haven't seen a lot of the other genre or other offerings in the same genre. I would say like someone's like 15 years old or 14, they want to start watching scary movies or however old they freaking are, I'd be like, watch Blair Witch first and then watch Paranormal Activity. Because if you watch Paranormal Activity first, then I think Blair Witch is kind of muddled because of the quality of Paranormal Activity. But you gotta respect where it came from.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I kind of feel like if I was going to introduce somebody to it, I want them to enjoy it, and I'm probably going to give them the highest quality film I can. So I might just go straight for something like Paranormal Activity. Um, and
I think
then
they're
if
both worth watching though. Like there's still value in watching Blair Witch even though Paranormal exists.
I agree, I just think that the value of Blair Witch is as a time capsule and looking back on it as a piece of cinema history and something that happened more than it is as a film to be outright enjoyed.
Yeah.
I think that was well spoken. I agree with that.
As always, before we go, remember that you can catch the show live every week on Twitch, an entire week before it goes live on all other feeds, as well as submit your questions and comments for us to read live on the show. If you're listening to this after the fact on YouTube, make sure you drop us a sub as we upload a new episode every single week. And if you're on podcast services, drop us a review as it helps us find new audiences. And don't forget that you can chat with us whenever over in our Discord server. You can find all the relevant links below. And as always, have fun out there, guys.